Hello, hello, hello. You know, it always takes a hot second for this bad boy to sync
Mm, Not the bad boy. Bad boy for life.
up. Can't stop me. This bad boy's life. Doom, doom, doot, doot, doot,
Mm, mm, mm,
doot,
mm,
doot, doot, doot. Do do do
mm,
do
mm,
do do
mm,
do 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 do
mm.
do 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 do. Now, now you're indulging in my foolishness. Oh my goodness gracious!
I didn't want to come on here eating, but they said take me as I am. So
Take me to the king.
come on.
I don't have much to run. Mhm. So here's
Oh,
the offering. Take me to the king.
not the gospel on the ones and twos. Amen.
Listen, the way I've been feeling, that song hits the spot.
I
It
don't
hits the
have much to
much.
bring.
What's the words after that?
Something, something,
Oh no,
glory.
yeah, it's glory something. Hold on, I gotta look that up.
It's my offering. Some
Take me to the king.
take me. That's all I remember to find.
Hold on, y'all. I promise you we're gonna get started. It's been a long weekend and week.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Hey, sweet Liz. I'm all right. I'm
Hey.
working on it. I'm working on it.
Oh, it's Take Me to the King. I don't have much to bring. My heart's torn into pieces. It's my offering. Lay me at the throne,
Yeah.
leave me there alone to gaze upon your glory and sing to you the song.
That's it.
Boy, I definitely about to listen to that song when we finish this live. Hey y'all,
Listen,
how are y'all doing? How's life? What's everyone reading right now? Bree, we won't ask you this question. Bree, is it's nice to see you back in action again on the
yeah.
interwebs.
I'm trying. I'm really trying out here in these streets. I wanted to take a thick nap before, but I said, let me go on Instagram.
Yeah, I was shocked. I got the notification on my phone. It was like, Bree
I was shocked.
is going live. I was like, what is Bree doing going live on a big Wednesday in
The
the
big
early
wins.
evening?
I thought I would be able to eat this second taco, but I think that's fake news too.
That rice looks good though. Hey y'all,
Yep,
I hope everyone is doing well.
I think we're done on that.
I went to her valley and just picked her up an hour later. Her class is supposed to be. Wow, 2 hours ago? Jeez. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, I agree, Adora. These past 2 weeks, honey,
Have
if y'all only knew the half of it, I'm telling you, this has been a rough couple of weeks.
you right?
Yeah, it's been rough. Um, okay, see, still reading The City We Became. Yeah, I heard that one is. I heard it's good, but it pacing though. Oh, I love me some Joseph Bruchac. He's amazing. The First Day of Spring. Renee, who's
I
that
haven't.
by?
I haven't said I read him. I haven't. I can't say I've read him. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh yeah, he's great. Hey, love.
Have you finished the Have you started the Poppy Wars?
Huh. When was I supposed to start that yesterday? I was too busy
Ask me
trying
if
to finish Far Sector.
what'd you say?
I was too busy trying to finish Far Sector.
Yeah, I finished Far Sector this morning.
When you text me,
Yeah,
yeah, I was asleep. I was knocked out.
but
I
I
was dead.
didn't. I started Far Sector like 20 minutes ago, reading it at like 2.37.
Far Sector.
Not Far Sector. What is it? Puppy Wars.
Poppy Wars. When is the live show on Sunday?
Hmm. I even did this in my reading journal to make sure I
Oh
read
Jesus,
that much.
why? Yeah, it's yeah,
I
yeah.
got
It's.
some notes. It's
I need a
interesting
break.
reading every time.
I need a
It
break.
is.
It's been a long year, and it's.
Yeah. I'm ready. It's a long year. We just started.
Yeah. Oh, Black Love Matters. I have my
We
copy
just
right here. I'm probably gonna read it next month, but I have my copy right here. Black Love Matters. I'm excited to pick that one up.
Oh, you got that too?
What, Black Love Matters?
When you get it? I got it in the
You got it? What?
somebody sent it to me.
I got that a minute
Somebody
ago
sent it
now.
to me.
I got
Oh
it
well.
when it first came out. Let's see. Rereading The
Hmm.
Deep. I don't even know if I have the emotional capacity
I
to reread that book. It has been a
read it
lot of
three
negative
times.
energy. This Black History Month has been a mess. This has been one of the
I
worst
saw
Black
this
History Months to date for me.
hands down.
Hands
There, I
down.
saw this TikToker, the book talker, and she was like, "Some of y'all missed the plot for Black History Month. Y'all been
Um,
on bullshit and throwing in random shit in the story since day one." I
yep,
said,
pretty much. Halfway through Obelisk Gate. Okay. Hover Girl's a webcomic. All right. Thank you, Adora. I hope the same for you too, love. I am I have 3 or 4 books to finish in 5 days.
"Same.
And
Let's not ever talk about it. It is
I don't
embarrassing.
yeah, I don't know how it's gonna get done. Um,
It is gonna get
but it's gonna get done. It's gonna get done. Okay, Nancy
yep.
Tucker.
I'm
All right,
I'm
I've
right
heard of
there
that
with you.
author before. Yeah,
I'm
I read
right.
Adora. I read Anna Karenina a few years back, and it took me about 4 or 5 months to finish it. But I intentionally took it slow, and it was good. Uh,
It got
Not
fucked up
Sarah
somewhere.
Janet. Thought she was taking your time. Poppy War next month. Yeah. If I was not a part of the live show, I would roll it over to next month, but I'm a part of the live show, so I don't have that
Right,
option.
right. They come and do us dirty.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know. It's been a lot. Yeah. I think everybody's just going through a tough, a tough little
Yeah.
period. Reading Black Cake. Okay, I still need to pick that up. Poetry and children's books. I've read a lot of middle grade this month. And at first, I didn't know if it was intentional or not, but I feel like it's been really easy on my soul to consume a lot of middle grade this month. And I feel like that's what I've predominantly been reading. Hold on. I'm about to double check and see.
I ain't judging.
Hmm.
He said, I ain't judging.
Yeah, I've read a lot of middle grade this month. A whole lot of middle grade this month. It's just been kind of like a comfort place, to be honest with you, to read middle grade. Okay, Shadow of the Torturer. Just finished Ring Shout.
You?
No, someone in the comments said that they just Crystal.
Oh.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, love. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
It's taking me too long to eat 4 tacos.
Yeah, it is my intention to read it. Am I gonna read it like right at release? I don't know. Maybe if I get an audio copy of it, I probably will. Um, but yeah, I do plan on reading it. That was on my radar.
Relationship Goals by Christina C. Jones. Ulysses, get out of these comments with stuff like that.
I read it today. I read it. It dropped and um it's super short. I'm just gonna put that out there, and it ends on a cliffhanger. Saga issue
Wait, issue
56. It dropped today.
it dropped today?
Yeah, it's
Damn, didn't we
comic book.
just read the last one?
No, that was a month ago.
Damn, hold up. I didn't get a
Yeah,
notification. I'm subscribed. That's some bullshit.
it's new comic book day.
You know I don't know.
Yeah, it's new comic book
I
day.
need to
It
get my
dropped
Was New Comic Book Day the same day every month?
every week, every Wednesday.
Oh,
That's when most comics
okay.
drop on Wednesdays.
Let me see if I got some gifts, and I did. Amen. Yes, I did.
Tell me talking about this month. It's okay, nothing wrong with that. Hey, 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 hey.
Ah, glad you loved it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are gonna hold off on it until we get a full volume of it, but I don't think I can wait. Like, I probably will reread it when the bind up drops, but this month's issue was interesting. I'm ready for you to read it because that literal last panel, I think was an interesting conversation starter about something that we've talked about, that you've talked about, and that you pointed it out.
Really?
Yeah, it's something. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's something that you literally brought up to me like maybe a couple weeks ago about people using something, and I'm interested to see what you think of that literal last panel. I'm very intrigued. So,
Yes, I'm reading that tonight in addition to Poppy Wars.
okay, so when you get finished, and it's not long, like literally it looks like the comic is over 30 pages, but literally it's because it's so much extra additional content from Brian K.
Hmm.
Vaughan. The actual issue itself is probably like 28 pages, if that. So it won't take you long to read. It literally took me like 20 minutes to read it, if that.
Damn.
But
You know,
yeah.
I added it to my monthly TBR.
Yeah. Oh, that it'll be there. Yeah. Yeah. It's been, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean to make it hard, like, for y'all. For those of you who don't typically read like single issues, but I just don't want to fall behind again on Saga, waiting for trades to come out. So I'm gonna read it issue by issue. That's just, yeah. I'm reading the issues through. Okay, so Bree, also you probably might want to unsubscribe because they've been dropping the issues on Hoopla.
Shut the fuck up. I mean,
No
shut the
lie,
mess up.
no lie. They've been dropping the issues on Hoopla. I don't. They've never done that before, so I don't know why it's new now. But it's on Hoopla. They
Well,
dropped.
I'm gonna go
Yeah, they
ahead and
dropped
unsubscribe.
50. Yeah, they dropped
I'm gonna
56
go
on
ahead
Hoopla
and
today.
unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm gonna just write that down. Unsubscribe,
Don't worry, me and Bree also
unsub.
forgot about it. because Bree and I haven't finished it, and we're on the live show on Sunday. Here we are. Here we
Yep.
are.
Look,
Here
this
we are.
month was rough. A lot of live shows I told people I can do, I had to cancel.
Yeah, it's been rough. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry,
Not
Adora, that you don't
surprised.
have hoopla. It is a blessing to have hoopla. All right. So, um, thanks for letting us know what y'all have been reading. I just feel so like all over the place because it got so much. Oh, I got a surprise in the mail today. I got JL's new book that's coming out, A Taste of Magic.
Oh,
Yeah, I
did you
don't.
know you were getting it?
Hmm.
Did you know you were getting it?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Bloomsbury sent me 3 books randomly. One, they sent me an arc of Cameron Battle, which was interesting because it's already out.
they say
So
it's
I'm,
dark.
yeah, I don't know why they sent me that one. Um, but they sent me another middle grade one that I was interested in, and then they sent me A Taste of Magic by JL. I was like, I appreciate. That's nice. That was nice of
Did
y'all.
she just drop Ashes of Gold and now
Well, that one,
Taste
A
of
Taste of Magic, don't drop till August of this year. So it's some time before that one even comes out.
these authors be writing.
Yeah. Um, all right. So we are here to discuss Bar Sector. I
I don't have that dedicated book of quotes.
Oh, you have a
I do,
dedicated book of quotes?
yeah, for Far
There
Sector.
there were really actually some really like seriously like funny moments in this. Like
It
Jemisin's
is.
humor definitely did shine through in writing this, and she did a heck of a job. It's not I'm gonna put it this way. Let's start with ratings. What did everybody rate it?
Oh shit! I didn't rate it.
I didn't rate it either because I don't know what to give it yet.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't know what to give it yet. I know that it definitely is at minimum a 4-star read. That's at minimum.
Minimum.
At minimum. Um, but honestly, Campbell's artwork was phenomenal. Some of
I
the
couldn't
best
stop
artwork.
staring.
Yeah, some of the best artwork that I've seen. Um, and Chelsea, they review on Goodreads and we follow each other, and Chelsea and I kind of read some of the same comics, and they did a review of this, and one thing that I agreed with in their review was that like I also am not a big space opera person, DC or Marvel. I kind of like stay away from a lot of the spacey. So like for Marvel, what's the odd group with the raccoon and Groot and oh come on, Ashley. This is how I know I'm tired. What is the name of the group, y'all?
Raccoon.
The name of the
The
group.
Munchkins.
It's the raccoon, it's Groot.
The Chipmunk.
What? No, no. What is the name? Guardians of the
Garden
Galaxy.
of the
Thank you, Sarah.
Galaxy.
Goodness gracious, man. Ugh. Okay, like Guardians of the Galaxy, like that type of stuff. Um, very space heavy stuff. I usually step away from. So even with like Green Lantern Corps with DC, um, I do not read a lot of Green Lantern Corps standalone stuff. My most exposure to them has really been through like Justice League or whenever they're tied into other stuff. So I was actually nervous about going into this because it is a Green Lantern Corps story, and it's very very heavy sci-fi, um very much so on the space opera type of vibes. Um so I was nervous that I was not going to like it. I did like I'm here too. I did find a little bit of jumpiness. I don't know how to explain it because it wasn't inconsistent to me, but I think there was some lack of clarity in some of the storytelling. But I feel like the artwork for me is what is putting it right now at a 4 star. The reason why I say like N.K. Jemisin did a really good job is because N.K. Jemisin is a prose writer. Um, or I would just say this: it's not a traditional comic book writer. And a lot of times when you have writers who are not comic book writers come into the comic book scene, they overdo it. They overwrite because comic books is like comics are about the artwork. Like that's what a lot of us are reading it for, believe it or not, is the art. The art makes or breaks a comic. And the text is really supplemental. So sometimes you have writers who come in that don't typically do comics and they overwrite the story and it just becomes too text heavy, which is actually a thing in comics. Like it can be too text heavy. And I thought that overall, like she did a pretty decent job with kind of balancing, text and art. So
I
um
also think. Um, oh, sorry, me interrupt.
no, I'm done.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. Oh my God, am I tired? I forgot. Not forgot. What am I trying to say? My God, Brianna, please go. Oh, I really love the art, and I love different comic artists' rendition of the Green Lantern at the end of the comic because I
Mhm,
saw Greens, from Bitterroot, and then I was like, I don't think I would have liked his art in the way the story was told. I just really attached to this art style. Does that make
mhm,
sense?
mhm. No, it definitely makes sense. I do think that Campbell is shining is a shining light in this comic. To be honest, the artwork was stellar. Um, and I mean, goodness gracious, the artwork was stellar, especially because in
So
go ahead.
screenshot it. So I was just saying I screenshot it so much.
Oh, you screenshot it. Oh yeah, so much of the art. Like I'll show y'all some of my panels. Some of my I should have marked, and I hope this one. And although I mean, this is kind of a scene that is between our two characters here. Maybe I don't want to show that one. I might get flagged for showing that picture because of the nature of
There
it.
was a scene where she opened the door for the dude with locks, and the way her back, I was like, ah, oh my God. It was just so sexy, her
Yeah.
back. I was like, nice. Give me that back. That was real nice. And then trying to think other parts that
So
I
like
really
this,
liked. Yeah,
so
he was
like
done
this to
really
me,
well. He was
what I really liked is that the you can tell that this character is it's a brown character. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I like that Campbell used purple and blue hues to kind of highlight and kept a lot of the book because it's the Green Lantern. A lot of it was done like in cool colors, which I really appreciated. Like there are moments where it gets warmer, um, especially when you have a lot of interaction between characters or you have battle scenes. You start seeing a warmer palette, but I like that. And when the comic itself feels like it's resting, like there's not as much necessarily going on, we get
mm-hmm.
that cool vibe kind of going on, which I loved. I really appreciated that. Sorry, y'all. Trying to catch up too on comments.
I also
Well,
like the three species, what they
mhm,
represented in her role as like a peace officer,
mhm,
and what that meant. And there were so many quotes that just made me feel like the vibe of the writing that N.K. Jemisin did kind of paired with the writing she did in the city of We Became, of like using aliens or using things that are considered out of this world to mirror, you know what I mean, to mirror whatever
Mhm.
injustices that we see like currently today.
Mhm. I do too. It definitely was it definitely had let's put it this way, I think the entire comic served as this big allegory for things that we could relate to even though it was sci-fi. Um which is always amazing whenever authors are capable of doing that, and it's not so like you get it, but it's not like beating you over the head with it, which I think also takes a certain skill set. But I'm glad I asked a question on Instagram a couple weeks ago about if you could ask, and that was intentional. If you could ask one question as a comic book reader, what would you ask? And a lot of people were asking like, where do I start? Where do I begin with DC and Marvel? And there's never really honestly one clear cut answer for that. So I'm glad that we are giving like a little bit of sampling of DC and Marvel in our readings, although we're really heavily pulling more indie than anything. But we'll get a taste of Marvel, I believe, in May. Is May when we're doing Miss Marvel?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we'll be doing 3 volumes of Miss Marvel, um, with Kamala Khan, which it's gonna be great to pick that up in May.
I
Um,
mean, can we just talk about the shading of
yeah,
the
yeah,
likeness, the
yeah,
expression on their face of lust, and you know you're gonna come back to that lust. And
yeah,
she says the emotion exploit has given the city peace for centuries. And even though I regret not being given a choice about it, I'm grateful for the strength it lends me. That
mhm,
you go through just life trusting yourself. I wish I
yeah,
could do that, Joe, really. And I'm like, man, I need
yeah.
us to be together.
I did get Nahadelf vibes too from Marth, which was very interesting.
Oh,
That,
okay.
seductive, but also very weary of trusting. There's a motive behind everything. It's extremely calculated. But I definitely could see that that kind of pairing of them being kind of similar characters. I do agree with this. It's very interesting to be dealing with people who are considered to be emotionless, but a lot of the comic itself was emotionally charged.
Hmm.
Um, which makes it a little conflicting in terms of storytelling. Oh, um, there was a lot of emotion woven in. I think that we got to see more emotion with Joe, but even when the other characters were not supposed to have emotions, um, they did have emotions, if that makes sense.
Hmm. I mean,
So that
even if you would say it for people who claim they don't have emotions, you guys use expressive words or words that give off emotion.
mhm, yeah. And I also agree. I can't remember who said it. Oh, yeah, Elizabeth, that the ending was kind of it was. I think we had this huge build up to the coup that happens at the end. With I can't remember is her name was Glory. She's an at which I can never get past. Literally, their species is called at. Um, but with with Glory, trying to um have this coup, and then we get to the fact that it is his brother. Um, I mean his sister, who is about to blow everybody to smithereen. It just didn't. I think that I wish there would have been a little bit more backstory on the two of them as siblings, especially since there seems like there could have been conflict there, because I think at some point, is their name Sis? They had made this statement that um he was a golden child, and she was not considered the golden child because she just her means to fixing everything was just shooting people, whereas he was very calculated. And politics and manipulation, all that was just a part of the game. I think that for me, that conflict, if that was delved into a little bit more, it would have explained kind of an interesting meetup between Joe and her at the end. But because it was kind of glazed over, it kind of lost the power that it could have had, um, if we would have gotten more conflict between the two of them as siblings. Because her kind of pushing back against wanting to help her brother would have made a little bit more sense. And I think that we could have gotten a little bit more conflict instead of Joe giving us a couple of panels as to why, um, people shouldn't be blown off the face of the planet, and then she kind of concedes to it. No, it wasn't supposed to be longer. This was a one. It's not a one shot, but it's a standalone, um, that was used as a way to introduce Joe as a character to the DC universe. Joe actually appears. I'll show you where Joe appears. Ugh. Because it's a bigger event that happens, because a lot of this stuff, and I'm not going to delve into the nitty gritty of Future State because I'll confuse the heck out of a lot of people. So there are things that happen with Future State with the Green Lantern Corps, and then things that happen as a result of Future State. And so in this, which is Green Lantern Invictus, there's something that happens to the Green Lantern Corps while Joe is away in this one. So if you didn't notice when reading this, we never get an explanation, which is crazy that technically this can be read as a standalone, but if you paid close enough attention, you didn't get all the answers in this either, because Joe's ring is not supposed to function the way that it functions. It functions independent of the way the other Green Lantern Corps rings function. So it should not be able to power up on its own the way that it does. And that's never explained in this one, and you don't know who's given Joe that ring and why she was selected to go on that planet separate from the Green Lantern Corps. Because in the beginning, it talks about the fact that she's in this she's in this far sector away from everybody else, and there's no other members there. Well, in this one, excuse me, all. In this one, you find out what happens to the other Green Lantern Corps members, and Joe is a part of this one. So it is a standalone if you're not wrapped up into DC, but at the same time it's not a standalone because there were a lot of holes in that story as well that get answered in the main Green Lantern storyline when Joe jumps in. But Joe also makes appearances, I believe, in Suicide Squad, um, Infinite Frontier, and I feel like it's something else that she makes an appearance in. But yeah, there were it's not supposed to be longer. And there won't be any more, like that's it. Those, I think it's 12 issues. That's that's it. That's those 12 issues contained within itself. But if you want to learn more about Joe and why things happen the way they happen with her, then I would recommend picking up Green Lantern Invictus. That's kind of the next. The art is not. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, the art is not as good. I'm not even sure. It's not. It's not like you're not gonna get Campbell's, because even when I started picking this one up, it definitely is a little bit more on the grittier side. A lot of people are not going to be a fan of the artwork of this one, but if you're interested in getting more of Joe's, because I don't even think Joe really looks the same in this, to be honest with you. I'm trying not to spoil myself.
So Joe appeared in the DC Connect, Future State, Justice League, Suicide Squad, the
Mm,
Green Lantern season 2, the Green Lantern 80th anniversary,
uh-huh.
Generation Shattered,
Yes,
Future
Generation Shatters is the other one I forgot.
State, Infinite Frontier,
Hmm.
Dark Knight, Death Metal, War of the Multiverses, DC
Mhm.
Pride, and Future State Justice League.
Yes. The first time I saw Joe was in Future State Justice League because that's when you see. I wish I had my copy over here, y'all, so I could show y'all. I don't even know where I put my copy of. Okay, hold on. I see
I
it.
got,
I'm gonna
oh,
turn my camera off.
gotta, you can screen share. I have it here. Also, because of the holes in the story, I just wanted to know more about like her family. That's just me. And also wanting to know like more about why her ring was so different and why it was holes.
Okay,
I
so
think I
yeah,
dropped
this,
though on that.
huh?
I was just wondering like more. I wanted more backstory
Oh,
about
more backstory about her, yeah, her family and stuff. Yeah, so this is Justice League Future State, which if you can see right there, there's Joe.
her. Hmm.
So that was the first time that I actually saw Joe, um, and was introduced to her as a character before I started. That was before I started reading Far Sector. So, but yeah, it is definitely, that's why I'm always like, I'm super hesitant when people kind of like market it as, oh yeah, it's you can read, you don't need any, and you don't technically need any you don't need any prior knowledge going into this one, but I think that it does leave room for people who are interested in exploring it more or exploring her character more to pick up more stuff about her, because it definitely has plot holes, but that's intentional plot holes. Yeah, they don't. Which, if you know anything about the Green Lantern Corps, then you know that like that was something about that wasn't right. Like the way the ring worked, the fact that she only had the ring for a year, and even in some of like the transcripts at the beginning of certain issues, there was one that talked about the fact like of not bringing in the rest of the Green Lantern Corps and just keeping her there because they
Yeah,
were concerned that she. Go ahead.
no, I was saying that was one of the communications that
Yeah, one
was
of the
given.
communications. Yeah,
Like
all that stuff.
what was it saying? Like who authorized this? And Guardian 2 was like me because y'all were taking too fucking long and like
Yeah, and you don't know anything about the character that we see that authorized that, except in those few panels
yeah.
where they're like, "Hey, I thought you were looking for a job." Where was that? What um issue was that?
It wasn't like it wasn't the first couple, I tell you that. It was towards the end.
No, it was
Like in
towards the end, yeah, when things
the
started heating up.
yeah, in the 200s.
I did appreciate how the beginning of every issue also had a quote or a reference
Oh,
from,
yes.
yeah,
That was my favorite. Let me see favorite of them. Hold
from a
up.
writer and author. Actually, when the Lauryn Hill one popped up,
Yeah.
I
I
started
said, no,
listening. I started listening to the album.
I know, not a lyric. I said, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
My, my favorite was not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. James Baldwin. I
yes.
said, you're not wrong. They had Auntie Nora in there.
It was a lot of good. It was a lot of good people that she pulled quotes from. I really want to know where that communication was, because I definitely. Anyway, if I can find it, but that communication is also a clear indication that there's more to this story than the 300 pages that you're reading here. To
Yep.
be honest, as much story as you're getting in this, you're not getting the full story. And I always say, like, I never believe that anything that DC or Marvel does is ever a standalone. That's just me. I don't ever. I mean, I'm sure there are, but I just know that them. Like, I just don't feel like there's ever anything that's technically a standalone with them.
I also this comic is a perfect example of when people be like, I can't make characters black. You know, like I can't give them the hair texture. I can't give them, black features. I'm like, lies.
Not
Lies.
true at all.
But I'm looking with you, trying to figure out.
Yeah, trying to find it.
Oh, I found it. I'm good.
Okay.
It's on page 245.
Okay. Yep, I found it too. Yep, here we go. Yeah. And ironically, in here, in order to rise from its own ashes, a phoenix first must burn, by Octavia Butler. Of course, that's the quote.
OEB. And that was the
Yeah,
last issue, so issue 12.
yeah, that was the last issue. Goodness gracious. But I definitely think that it was, I mean, overall, it's definitely a great, um, I think this is one of those comics that's almost like a good introduction. And I didn't know this when we went through our selection process, but I think that this is a great introduction to DC where it's at right now because of the fact that it can be in some way self-contained if you don't want to go any further. But then it does give room for those who are like, oh, I want to know more about Joe. I want to, um, I want to know more about the Green Lantern Corps. Like, what's up with this ring? Who is this person that gave her this job? I think that it definitely can lean both ways. So it's a good introduction to DC. It's a lot of DC stuff that I just would not recommend as an introduction because it's too involved, and everything's too tied together. But this is one that I think would be a good fit. And I thought that because I had been introduced to Joe and Justice League Future State, I was very weary about the fact that there was a possibility that we were going to have to come into this live show and have to, figure out how to explain like what Future State was and what that event meant for the DC universe and how everything tied together. And as much as I love talking about it, it can be extremely overwhelming, and it's also a huge deterrent for new comic book readers to have to be in a world that's so involved and like I don't even know where to start. But for any beginner recommendations, I definitely would go with Far Sector as a way to kind of jump in to see what DC's about.
I am ready for something else. Because not like you when you're saying a standalone. They're always roping somebody back in
Hmm.
with Marvel and DC. So I just feel like we might get some more of Joe. We might get another run of something.
I don't know if I can see us possibly getting a run. I don't know if N.K. Jemisin would do that wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's
Yeah,
forced.
I don't. Yeah, because and it all depends. I mean, you never know. Like, I thought Miss Marvel's run was done. Kamala Khan's specific run, Miss Marvel, was done when G. Willow Wilson did the 10 volumes, which 10 volumes of any series is pretty extensive. Um, I thought when she was done, like that would kind of be it, and we would see Miss Marvel, which we did. We saw her in other places in in the Marvel universe, but then another writer picked up, and I'm always nervous about when another author picks up a character and does a run because they're very distinctive. They don't keep nothing really. Um, the character never feels the same. Let's just put it that way. It's
Hmm.
very rare that you'll have two writers who deal with the same character and the character feels like the same exact character because
But I
every
feel like the character have to be black to keep this energy.
they won't put anybody that's not
I
black
mean,
on it.
the author, sorry, the author.
They won't
Go
put
ahead.
anybody that's not black on it.
Oh, really?
No, DC don't make the mistakes that Marvel makes.
Okay.
DC's a little bit when it comes to looking at like inclusion, diversity, they're still behind the curve in a lot of ways, don't get me wrong, but if we were looking at DC and Marvel in terms of who's doing a better job, I personally think DC is. DC has always not always, but DC in the past couple of years has felt like they've been making bigger strides than Marvel has. Marvel does their stuff every once in a um once in a blue moon, but DC does make it a point, like, Joe makes an appearance in DC's Pride, which focused on was a one shot, which focused on I think it was a one shot. It focused on all of the queer characters in DC's lineup.
Yeah.
Like they do stuff like that. And Marvel just kind of like, you know, it's more naturally, I think, like for DC, it's more natural to involve diverse characters and it not be a big thing. Like
Mhm.
it's just they're just there. Like, like it's not as big hoopla or whatever. Like they just exist as any other character.
Mhm.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
interesting Batman. Yeah.
when I realized this character was queer, I said, "Of course, NK, always giving us what we need."
Yeah. Yeah. And to see
I was
that too on page too, like there was no assumptions that need to be made. Like it was evident
like,
on
man, that
page.
kiss at the end, I was like, yes, I've been waiting for this since that panel I just showed y'all. It was
Okay.
then I knew. And then the sexual tension between her and Lock Dude. And then the panel happened where they both just naked post
And
coitus.
laid up on each other.
I was like, it's given. Then
I listen, I wanted her to explore that relationship a little bit more with him
me too, me too. He was
but I
fine.
feel like that's my own toxic um behavior seeping into my reading experience about like
Listen,
he's
he was
emotionally incapable of feeling anything for you, go after him.
yeah, he was fine. And then the funny part is like after she walked out on the councils or counselors and she was like, "Yo, I'm gonna do my job. I'm not with y'all essentially." And then he came after her, and she was like, "Wow, I didn't know you were gonna be clingy or something like that." Or
Oh you didn't peg me as the type to be clingy.
yeah, I was like, "You put that thing on him. What you
No, but
want to
no,
do?"
but she was funny when she said like when he said, "Do you?" What he said something about the council, and then he said, "Well, do you?" She was gonna feel some type of way about the council, and then some way about him specifically, and then her clapback was like, "You weren't that good."
Oh yeah,
Yeah. You
I
weren't
was.
that good.
Then I was like, "Dang," because he looked like he could be that good.
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah, he
you
got
were
good
good, but
head.
you weren't that good." And
He
plus
got good.
because, who's the at that worked with Joe?
Oh, I forgot
I
her
can't
name.
remember her name. It was funny whenever, like, she would come in and she'd be like, so I've heard things
Yeah.
about him, and, I mean and she's like, "You
Listen,
think I've fallen over some alien
yeah,
being?" She's like,
has.
"I don't even wanna know what that is."
Right. Ken has was her name. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was interesting.
Yeah.
And I also am thankful that there was no panels of his feet.
Oh my gosh.
I really can't stand it. I really can't. Me seeing a man's feet would really throw
Yeah.
off the whole image for me.
Bendis has a reputation for writing characters he has no business writing. Um, I've only read a couple of issues of Naomi, um,
What you mean no business?
because Bendis has done a couple of things that I just don't personally like. People like Bendis. I'm not. There's certain things that he's done that I don't feel comfortable with. I've read a couple of issues of Naomi. I don't know how I would feel as a whole for his work on Naomi. I think she's an interesting character, which is a completely different discussion. I think she's an interesting character. Her storyline is interesting, but um, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Bendis is Bendis.
Doing hood rat stuff. Got it.
Um,
I also when there were parts of the book where she was working on a low battery, I was like, girl, same. Constantly not charging my phone. I really felt that for her. And then when she had to like morph into like a big lantern or
mhm,
whatever that's called, I kept thinking to myself, like I just couldn't stop thinking about like Power Rangers, like morphing, morph up, whatever the hell it was
mhm,
called. I know that was kind of left side, but every time she was like, I'm ready to go up, I was like, this is giving me Power Ranger.
mhm,
But I kept thinking it though.
mhm.
Cause like look at this panel, y'all. That ain't giving you Power Ranger type shit.
It does give Power Ranger type vibes.
And it's so beautiful. I wonder how they even got this color to glow like this. That's what I think is dope.
Mhm.
Artists are so nice.
Yeah, so Campbell did the work on Naomi, didn't he? Y'all? He did the work. I mean, it's probably why I like the artwork so much. He did the artwork on Naomi, right? I'm guessing that's right. And no, you're not the only. No, you're not the only type. No, it's a few of us out here that Bendis has done some. It was one comic that Bendis did. Let me see if I can find it. Um, I believe he did from Marvel, and I feel like I read it last year, and it was the one that kind of did me out, where I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm pretty sure Bendis did it, and it was his interpretation of um how Captain America got his origin story, and that technically Nick Fury should have been Captain America because of the experimentation that went on with black soldiers during World War II.
Really?
But it was I gotta
Nick Fury.
yeah. But that the concept behind it the concept behind it was, yes, it was Ultimate Origins by Bendis. This is when I kind of reached my peak with him, because I read a couple issues of Naomi in the beginning of the year, and then I read Ultimate Origins, and I was just like, I was I was like his complete filth. Um because the way that he wrote it is that he Nick Fury ends up getting experimented on, and then Fury blames himself for the experimentation happening because he was a criminal and it was justified. And I didn't like that at all.
Mm.
How it turned into victim blaming
That's what it
as to
sounds
what,
like for
yeah,
sure.
it was like victim blaming. And like it was crazy because there was some connection between the characters that I really liked, like with like Dr. Banner and Dr. Storm and Dr. Parker, and it was tying some characters together that you wouldn't have seen traditionally tied together. But
Yeah.
it was that whole narrative to try to explain why Fury was technically the first Captain America that just it didn't sit well with me, and I was like, I didn't like that. So on it, Shamla, most of the storylines, a lot, not most of them, some of the storylines that you see and like in the MCU comes from the Ultimate line, which was released in the early 2000s, which was a new starting point for new Marvel readers. A lot of the stories come from that. Like Nick Fury in Ultimate Origins looks like Samuel L. Jackson. Like a lot of that stuff is very intentional.
Mm.
And that's where some of the stories are coming from, which is why it probably is going to sound familiar to a lot of people because that was a storyline that was chosen for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Um,
Watch it.
yeah, I do too. I have it on my iPad. Not my iPad. I don't have an iPad. I have a Kindle. I don't know why I was going to say I have it on my iPad. I have it on my Kindle, and I still need to read it. Um, yeah. And Adore, I think too, it could have been from a different comic because the way that they did it, I wonder if it was from a different comic or maybe if they flipped what Bendis did too, because it was cringe, and the way that they did it in Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter, completely different take on a black character being the first Captain America.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. But sorry, y'all. That was a detour. I just had to explain why Bendis is not a fan favorite of mine. Just to give some context. But I still don't know what I would rate it though, Brie. Like I I don't know because of the fact that I had some issues with the storytelling, but the art, Campbell blew it away with the art, y'all.
Yeah.
Campbell was fantastic with the art.
I just felt like there was things that I missed that makes me want to reread it because
Mm.
I don't even think I thought that, or even remembered that Mar and the other person were siblings, like you said.
Oh, at the very end, that was his sister.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
how I missed that.
yeah,
I missed that.
yeah.
I don't
I
know.
um
Very much away.
I I definitely think it's worth rereading for that, and then also like if you want to continue on with it and know more about Joe in the Green Lantern Corps and how it's kind of, changed up since Future State. Thank you, Adora. So the one that they pulled for Falcon and Winter Soldier's Truth, red, white, and black. Cool. The ending was fast. But I keep going back to if Jemison would have and it's tricky. That's what I keep saying. Like it's so tricky, and that's why I keep giving her credit for it because it's so tricky figuring out pacing and writing with a comic book. It's nothing like writing a traditional like prose book. Like the pacing, how you write, nothing about it really is very similar. Um, which is why I give her so much props because it's so hard to go from one to the other.
Yeah.
But if they would have given a little bit more and they would have delved a little bit more, like I said, into that conflict between him and his sister when it was originally brought up, that ending could have been a little bit longer so it wasn't as rushed. But there was no context for an extended conversation between Joe and her, or the sister going into like, oh, I hate that I'm like the black sheep of the family. Like nobody likes me because I'm not as politically in tune as they are. I'm very much so like, you know, violence first, ask questions later type of situation. But because that was never explored, you didn't really have much room to go further in the ending, which is super unfortunate. But I mean, it was a solid read. I will give it at least 4 stars. I'm thinking the more that I talk about it, it's probably going to be a 4-star read for me.
Yeah, I think I'm still gonna have to sit on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even think about rating it after. After I was just like, it's good.
Yeah.
It's like, what I
Yeah,
do.
I didn't. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, everybody's reading. I'm like, wait, I didn't even read it myself either, so I don't even know what I would rate it. Although I have been consuming a lot of comics within like the past few days. I finished out Archie, Mark Waid's run of Archie. Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah. This weekend,
Was it was it good or not?
it was a reread. Volumes one through one, two, three, four were a reread for me, I believe. I think I may have started five in the past, but I never finished it. But
Mm-hmm.
volumes one through four were definitely a reread. I had read volume one, I think, last month when I did that comic book vlog.
Yeah.
Um, and then I ended up, yeah, in a course of 48 hours, I ended up finishing volumes two, three, four, five, and six, and then picked up some more Archie comics.
Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah. Part of me wants to stop reading the Black Panther in chronological order. Because the Stan Lee versions are really hard.
yeah, they're
Like when he
older, the old ones,
weird,
yeah, the 60s, yeah.
yeah, those it's just hard. And it's not even like a lot. It's probably like 6 volumes, and I've only read the first four, and I've tapped out already. Like I'm like,
Yeah. It's definitely the art style's different. Like the amount of colors that they had available for for the panels or for coloring, it was very limited.
mm-hmm,
Um, so you're dealing with a different art style. You're dealing with, I think a lot of the comics that I've read from Marvel from the 60s are very text heavy. Um, so it's a drag. It's such a drag
I'm
reading.
like, I don't like this at all.
Yeah, yeah. I have not read Shuri yet, but I have read Okorafor's other one, which I believe is more tied to
Is it the
Nakia.
LaGuardia one?
Huh?
LaGuardia one? Is that what you mean?
No, I read LaGuardia. That's not that's isolated standalone um comic that she did. I've read that one and it's good. But
I
hold
think
on.
I read that one, but I could be lying to y'all on the internet.
The one that I'm talking about is, where is it? Is Wakanda Forever. Um which pulls in, it's really about Nakia. Which I found interesting because I wasn't as familiar with I wasn't as familiar with like some of the characters in the world of Black Panther, like Nakia. And it's interesting because you watch, the MCU, you watch Black Panther, and Nakia is T'Challa's love interest, and in reality, in the comics, Nakia
It's
is
Storm.
is not.
Yeah,
She has a lot of things going on um in the comics, and actually in this one, T'Challa's love interest is Storm.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm here for that match. I can't wait till I get there. Haven't
oh, so
gotten.
see their match. Yeah,
Yeah,
he has some interesting, like his love interests are they're very they're very interesting. I think him and Storm were an interesting pairing, and I think we've talked about this before, how his children are connected to Namor, who you meet in in the Fantastic Four, and also
hmm
connected to Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
hmm
Like it's a lot of there's a lot of interesting things going
yeah.
on there.
I don't know how they're gonna move forward. I'm interested to see.
Oh yeah. Um they're going to make what's her face is going to be The new Black Panther. His sister.
Siri?
Shuri. Oh my god, I can't believe the name is right there. Yeah, Shuri. Yeah. Wow, bro. Wow. It's time for me
Yes.
to go to bed. We're gonna
It's
be
okay.
wrapping this up in a second. It's time for me to go to sleep. Yeah, Shuri, I think is going to be the next Black Panther. Now, what reasoning they're going to give for his absence, I do not know. And they won't they
They
will
better
not
say he
reveal that.
died.
Huh?
They better say he died.
I don't know what Marvel's gonna do. I mean, because technically this is taking place after this new Black Panther movie will be taking place um after quite a few things that are going to be happening. So I'm thinking about the lineup here. I think it's slated to come out even after the new what's the guy with the freaking red cape that has this he's time travels and Doctor Strange. Goodness gracious. It's
No, I
time for me
think
to
Doctor Strange happened before them because what Marvel movie did I watch recently? And at the end of it, was it Spider Man? It was, and it was like a whole like snippet of what the movie is gonna be about. And I like Doctor Strange a lot, which makes me sometimes feel like maybe I should read the comics. But I'm ready.
ugh, that's a
The comics
wow.
is trash.
You heard that Namor is gonna show up? What?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, I need to
y'all
catch
know
like
who's
listen, y'all. I need to catch up on the like the TV shows, like because I have not caught up on the and everything. If you know Marvel, everything should be watched in order to for everything to make sense. I cannot, but wow, I'm just excited to see how this showdown is going to happen between Doctor Strange and and what's her face, Scarlet Witch.
listen.
Because if you've seen WandaVision, baby, Wanda is a force to be reckoned with. And I don't know how that's going to play out.
I have not seen WandaVision.
You haven't seen WandaVision?
Mm-mm.
Do not watch the Doctor Strange movie if you have not seen WandaVision. Don't do it.
I've already watched.
No, no, no. The new one that's going to release. Don't watch the new one until you watch WandaVision because the new one is very I in my assumptions from what I have heard is that I think that this new Doctor Strange movie is going to be super dependent upon what happened in WandaVision because you figure out Wanda is just a very unique person. And I think it's going to come into play when her and Doctor Strange may possibly meet in this new one.
Are there going to be? Are there going to be? Not if they're going to be. That's not the question I'm trying to ask. So,
Hmm.
um, is WandaVision long?
No, I've done WandaVision in like a couple of days.
Okay.
But I also was watching episodes like when it first came out and I was waiting for more episodes to come out, like I feel like I was watching like 4 or 5 episodes in a sitting. Like it's really not that long. I don't even know how many episodes it really is. It's not that long, and it's so intriguing that by the time you finish one episode, you're like, I gotta watch the next one. I gotta watch
Not
the next one.
okay with it. Like it.
Yeah, I definitely yeah. Okay, from the new yeah from the trailer, I think yeah it's important to watch WandaVision because you'll get the most out of that new Doctor Strange movie.
All
Yeah,
right.
half of them are sitcom length, and okay. So I don't think this is a spoiler, Brie. a lot of people, I feel like, don't give WandaVision a fair chance because the first 3 episodes, you're kind of like, what is this? Because it's set up like a sitcom, and you'll understand why. It's the best thing that Marvel has put out to me. When I think about the writers behind WandaVision, it was beautifully done. I have never in my life watched a TV show where I'm like, holy crap, the emotion behind it, the emotion that they captured, how everything just made sense. And it was a beautiful piece of art. I have never, ever, ever seen anything like that before in my life. And so
So I shouldn't start tonight.
if you start tonight, listen,
I'm not gonna get any of my
you wanna
reading
watch a couple episodes together?
done. I'm not gonna get any of my reading done.
You won't get any of your reading done. We can do a movie night though if you want to watch it for real, for real.
I do. I want to watch them all. I like Doctor Strange. So
Yeah,
you
if
saying that it's not worth reading the comics?
no. You mean
Okay.
like reading the comics for what reason?
I just wanted to get more Doctor Who. Doctor
Oh,
Strange, sorry.
no, 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 no. Read them if you want to read them. I just think like I'm not particularly interested in because it's the time thing and then the multiverse thing, like it can get confusing. That's just me. I think it just can get super confusing. But no, if you want to, definitely, definitely read it.
Y'all, sometimes I feel
So is it better than Loki and Marvels? I've seen it, Thor, Dark Strange, and Buffy. I don't put the TV shows on the same level as the movies. I don't look at them as the same thing. I think that their purposes are different. I think that I haven't seen Loki, but from what I have heard,
I heard low key is good, and I do
I
want
heard
to
it's
watch
good,
that.
but I think WandaVision tops both Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Loki, and Hawkeye. I don't think, and it also depends upon what you like. The storytelling in WandaVision is so damn good, it's kind of hard to touch it. And I think that because there's so much emotional power behind WandaVision, and because of what Wanda has experienced as a character, you can't really capture that in any other storyline because hers is just it's a love story. It is. It is a love story and it's just told in a different way and it really illustrates the power behind I'm wording this without spoiling anything. um I think it really captures the power of the love that she had for Vision. And if you know anything about that and that the TV show does capture parts of that from other parts of the movie or other parts of the MCU universe, MCU universe, this redundant from the MCU. Um, it will have. I'm a sucker for a good love story too, and that's probably why for me it was just the storytelling was just on par. It was, oh, Bree, whenever you're ready to watch it, let me know
Not whenever you're ready. Hit
because you know
me.
me and I actually ended up rewatching all of it with my patrons, and it was fun because I had watched once already, and then like being able to explain some stuff because there's things that do need some explaining
Hmm.
and kind of like Easter eggs and like there's some things that may be tied together because Marvel now has rights to the X-Men. Like it's a lot. It's a
To the
lot of good stuff.
X-Men.
Well, because they didn't have X-Men at first, Marvel sold the rights of X-Men to Fox. So what we were seeing was Fox had made the original X-Men movies that we see in Days of Future, all that confusing shit.
No,
to be honest with you.
he said,
But Marvel, well, Disney now owns Marvel and Fox, so they have the rights back to X-Men, which means because for the longest time, if you could not tell, X-Men do play a role in the Marvel universe, but they couldn't incorporate them into the MCU because they didn't have the rights to the characters.
well,
Exactly. 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 Now they can really do some crazy behind stuff because of the fact that now they can bring in characters that they have not been able to touch. And you get I'm not gonna say anything. Just watch
no,
WandaVision.
but I saw this and I wondered why. So thank you for
Oh
it's
yeah,
coming
that's yeah,
now.
it's a
I saw that
huge
I was like,
yeah, it's a huge thing. It is such a huge thing because
uh,
now it's like now Marvel can do right by X-Men because X-Men really just was not I liked the original like maybe like 2 or 3 movies. They were good, but it just went downhill from there and the MCU has a very consistent team of writers and producers and stuff like that. It's the same people who really have their hands in everything. So now they can really tell the story the way that they want to tell the story and throw in the X-Men. Child, let me tell you.
not throw it in.
I mean, it is you just can appreciate the grand scale of storytelling that takes place in some of these comics. Like, I feel like that's why I always get frustrated when people shit on comics because I'm like, but y'all be the first one running to the movies to watch these movies, not realizing like the amount of storytelling that goes into tying all of these small pieces and parts together. It is absolutely mind boggling. DC could never do what Marvel's doing right now. I love DC. DC has my heart, but when it comes to TV production, movie production, DC is trash. They are trash. They could never touch Marvel. They will never touch Marvel because they don't have a consistent team writing the stories, producing whatever. They can't do it. They cannot do it.
Not you saying they mama ain't shit.
Huh?
I said not you saying they mama ain't shit.
They're not good. Like I refuse to watch the second Wonder Woman movie because I heard that they made Diana like this love crazy like character who just kind of lost her essence. And I'm like, that's not Wonder Woman's not like that. Like that's just not her as a character. And they just do think they get the wrong people to write these stories, which is why you had these huge things like you shouldn't have to release a new Justice League because Scott Snyder, well, I mean, it was unfortunate why he had to step away from the movie, but you have to release a Snyder cut of Justice League because the man that you hired to finish what Scott Snyder started freaking ruined it. Justice League was horrible. Suicide Squad, horrible.
Okay, damn. I like Suicide Squad.
Horrible. Horrible.
I will say that was pre me reading comics.
I do feel like I do feel like they did a good job with the first Wonder Woman movie. I do feel like I really, really enjoyed Aquaman. Although
I
Aquaman is so first of all, Jason Momoa does not capture Aquaman. Aquaman is the awkward character who everybody makes fun of. He's not like when I think Aquaman, I appreciate Jason Momoa, don't get me wrong. But when I think Aquaman comics, Jason Momoa is not what comes to mind.
damn. And here we are learning.
Exactly. That's why I refuse to watch the second one. Yes, Peacemaker is great. It is. Peacemaker has been, and yes, and the fact that they made Robert Pattinson Bruce Wayne, like who's making these casting choices?
I wondered about that, but I'm still gonna watch it.
I'm
I
like,
wondered about that myself.
uh,
She said,
I'm
"Who's
like,
making these choices?"
Who's making these casting choices? Like, who woke up and said we should have Robert Pattinson and audition to be Batman? No, he's
Yeah,
not Bruce.
put my boy on the ones and twos.
Mm-mm. I just no. He was not. He should have never. Yeah, I think for a lot of comic book readers, Jason was an Aquaman for a lot of us. Like, I like the movie, I like the action, I enjoyed what looking at Jason Momoa. Okay. Um, but if I'm talking as a comic book reader, like he was also casted wrong. Like that should have never been he should have never been casted as Aquaman. Because he just doesn't Aquaman is the joke of DC. Like it's a man who talks to fish. No one takes him seriously.
What y'all got against fish?
It's not that. It's just that literally in the comics, like no one takes him seriously. So
Yeah.
to see like this character who I mean is it don't get me wrong, he's a badass character, but I think that when if you read anything that's Aquaman related and you understand his character, then you know that Jason Momoa is not going to be your first pick to play Aquaman, nor does he really capture the essence of Aquaman very well.
What I'm realizing is that I'm really a newbie out here in these streets because every time I think I know, and then the world say, "Sis, you don't."
I don't think, y'all, I just don't see like it. That's another thing is that Marvel's casting is done in a way where I feel like the characters match, like the people who were chosen to play these characters are close to what we would read comic book wise. They're also not perfect, but they're close. It's believable. I don't find The Rock as Black Adam believable. I don't know if it's because of previous roles he's played or like knowing him as an actor, but I don't see him as Black Adam. It does, and that's a good point. I feel like it's appearances. These people look good as a superhero, but like, can he really capture the essence of this? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, most of the casting is good with Marvel. It really is. It works in the grand scheme of things. It works in DC. It never freaking works. Like it just never. It never. Oh man, it just never. It just never works. It just never works. When's the last time y'all seen a good Superman movie?
Never.
Exactly. My point. My point. Batman
I mean,
versus Superman.
I like
Dumbest thing ever.
Superman, but it wasn't
Dumbest thing
necessarily
ever.
given. It wasn't. I'm gonna die if I don't see it. Kind of energy. Not that you needed that kind of energy.
An awkward, lanky. You don't.
And how y'all have all this money and not giving?
Because
All
they don't have. I think I've heard somebody talk about this on like a comic book channel. Um, how it's the background. It's what's happening in the background that makes DC kind of flop when it um comes to like movie related stuff. Is that Marvel has a very set, dedicated team, and DC does not have that level of organization that Marvel has. So Marvel has the same people, like the same hands are always touching, um, are always somehow involved with everything that comes out of Marvel. So it's very consistent. Whereas DC is constantly changing, like who's overseeing the projects, who's leading this and who's leading that. So they just never can put out anything that's consistent. Like they were supposed to come out with a DC universe type of thing, the same way that Marvel has their cinematic universe. but they can't match it, and it's super unfortunate because DC comic wise, like DC has some daggone good material. DC has so much good material. Like DC has a lot of good material coming out right now, but they don't have anybody that can capture that material and make it worthwhile. Like there's nobody that's saying like we're going to create this entire universe of DC characters, plot lines, whatever, and we're going to play it out like this. They don't have anybody really doing that for them. So they can't keep up with the like I don't know. They can't keep up with Marvel. That's all I know.
I get that.
Okay, Adora,
You need to go steal somebody over there.
I also refuse to watch Birds of Prey. I had no interest in it. They are untouchable animation wise. Their animated
Like
movies
the Joker
untouchable.
stuff?
Huh? What'd you say, Bree? Bree.
I said the Joker ride, the Joker wise.
You mean animated?
You said the Birds of Prey, and I was like in the Joker world.
Oh yeah, no,
Is
yeah,
that is that am I wrong?
yeah, I didn't want to watch it.
Birds of Prey has to do with the Joker, right?
Birds of Prey has to do
Or is it
with
a spinoff?
so Birds of Prey. All of that stuff takes place in Gotham. Think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So you have all your characters in Gotham are like, oh gosh, there's so many characters in Gotham. I mean, you have Batman, Catwoman, Harley Quinn. Come on, y'all, help me out here.
Yeah.
Help me. I mean, you have Robin. You have it's Joker. Um,
Ivy.
Commissioner Gordon. You have Gordon's daughter, who is actually Oracle. You have uh come on, y'all, help me out here. Help me, Black Canary. Thank you, y'all. Here, everybody coming in because there's so many different characters in Gotham. So I would definitely say like, yeah, Poison Ivy, Riddler, all of those people are housed in Gotham. Um, Scarecrow, Gotham. Um, Catwoman's run right now, written by Rom V, is really good too. Speaking of Gotham stuff that's going on.
I like that woman, man. I feel like our girl Halle Berry did that.
No
Do I got a
comment.
Boost Mobile connection?
Yeah, you do. It's all right though.
Is that why she can't hear me?
Um, Not me trying to. You want a Poison Ivy movie? I want a Poison Ivy
Am
movie.
I breaking up or are you breaking up?
Feel like I'm coming in clear. You're blurry on my end.
I don't know.
Um, I have no comment. Yeah, I had no comment on the Halle Berry Catwoman. Can y'all hear or see me? Like, am I coming through clear? Because I can't tell if it's me or Bree. I'm on a Cat 5 cable, so I'm thinking it's not me. Okay, it's not me. It was definitely Bree. Okay, I just wanted. I was like, what? I don't think Bree could hear. Yeah, I was about to say I don't. I couldn't. I didn't feel like Bree could really hear half the stuff I was saying to her. I'll add her if she comes back in. Yeah, no comments on the Halle Berry Catwoman. Um, she just wasn't. It just wasn't my thing. It just wasn't. It wasn't my thing, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. Totally fine. Um, she didn't. She didn't. But I think to Elizabeth, I think the more familiar I think this is kind of the downside. The more familiar you are with it was you, honey. I'm so sorry.
It's really the Boost Mobile internet shit for me. Cause I was like Poison Ivy, and then you were like, "Oh, I can't think," and I'm like, "Mug, I'm saying Poison
But
Ivy."
I said when you left, I was like, y'all, I don't think Brie could hear like half the stuff I was saying to her because I was asking you questions and you would still be highlighting. And I'm like, dang, like, not the homie ignoring me on the live.
Not the homie ignored me because I was like, "Is it your connection? Is it
No,
mine?"
bro, it was yours.
And then I was talking, and then I
It
was
was your
like, "This
no.
mug got
You
Boost Mobile." I'm blaming it
no,
on
it was
you.
you. I would talk to you and you would keep your head down and be highlighting. And I was like, dang, that's what level we are right now. Like, you could
Damn,
have told me.
damn. I was like, "F you and your live show, I'm out."
Oh,
No, I didn't
okay.
say
So
that, but I really thought I was having a whole conversation.
no, couldn't hear you. So we were talking trash while you were gone.
Damn. I'm gonna read them now. I'm gonna read them now. Not
No, the comments on the
Korean
screen.
static,
No, not about your connection. We're talking about while you were gone. Halle Berry did not do that.
but I loved her. But I loved her. Listen, me and my mom watched that movie several times back in the day. I was like, "Come on, Hallie." Ooh. I did think some of the stuff was a little like overdone, but I still was fucking with it. Not
Mm,
Scarlet Moon creations coming from my life.
mhm.
It be like that. I'm gonna let y'all have it.
I've heard good things about Batwoman. I haven't watched it, but I have heard that it's good. Okay, y'all. So the characters that I was definitely missing out on, um, of course, Gordon, Harvey, who becomes Two Face, Bruce Wayne, Penguin, Barbara, who is Gordon's fiance. How did we forget Alfred, y'all?
Oh shit! How did we forget
How did we
Alfred?
forget Alfred?
Y'all hating on the
Selena.
help? Y'all hating on the help?
No, Alfred actually ends up dying. Um, in future state, Alfred's dead. Sorry.
Okay, y'all, well, I go cry
Oh
about
yeah,
this.
Alfred. Yeah, Alfred's dead in future state.
Also, Salter, that's why we keep you around. You always come in at the right time to support your girl.
Where's Salter at? Oh,
Support your girl.
out campy. Of course, you come in.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I know, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Ashley said, "Look, I'm killing everybody's dreams today."
Okay, but first of all, let's be honest. All right, if y'all ever read Joker War, which James Tynion did Joker War, if you read, because who did it first? Tom King does the first, I think it's like 7 or 8 volumes of Batman when it was, what was the line that was before Future State? I keep forgetting what it was, and it's gonna escape me. Anyway, Tom King does a run of Batman. James Tynion comes in and he picks it up, and then we have Joker War, and in Joker War, everybody gets effed up. Okay, like literally, like
Not everybody
Joker
gets
is
that.
off. Joker's off the chain during Joker War. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Just gonna leave it. It's okay that you spelled my name wrong. It's all right.
You
Not a,
spelled
it's
your
all right.
name wrong.
Right there, see
Oh.
Ashely. It's an Ley. I'm sorry, y'all. I felt like I just like ruined some people's nights. I probably did. Alfred's dead, by the way. And I think it was the fact that I said it so casually. Like I was like, "Oh, how are we
Long
forgetting about Alfred?
live.
Oh, he's dead anyway now." So,
Yes.
uh, yeah, I heard Stargirl. Yeah, yeah, not the middle grade book, Adora. um, I don't know, because in Future State, Bruce Wayne also has lost all his money. So I don't know. He's living in like a like uh um a walk up. No, he's not living in a walk up. He's living in a brownstone and he has no money. He's completely broke.
Well,
Alfred's dead.
damn. I didn't know all of that.
And that's when is his name Jace? Jace is becoming the new Batman. Black guy. Yeah, yeah. Let me stop spoiling this shit for y'all because people are coming in like, what? Yeah, yeah. Bruce has no money.
Damn. Is my internet okay?
Yep, your internet is screwing up again.
I
Poor
hate
Brie,
it
y'all.
here.
It's all right. It's about that time anyway. It
I hate
is
it here.
it is about that time. Yeah, I definitely like man, I definitely would check out the future state stuff for Batman. It's really interesting because in Gotham at that point, um, there is like this rule against mass vigilantes. So the mayor and the new police commissioner, because Gordon no longer is a police commissioner. This is all after Joker War. Like Gotham is a hot mess, and because of Joker War, like people are like, we don't want any more masked vigilantes. Like we're pretty much done with the nonsense. Um, because of that, which you end up seeing as a result is some shifting. It's a lot of shifting, and Batman is not relied upon as heavily as he used to be in Future State. And this is Future State and then also like post Future State in publication but pre Future State in timeline. I don't even know if that makes sense, but so the stuff that you're seeing, Infinite Frontier comes after Future State. Infinite Frontier is technically chronologically before Future State, but it's post publication of Future State. It's all confusing, but it really does make sense. But it's a mess. Like um Harley Quinn is now morally gray. She's not technically a villain. She was replaced by Punchline, who becomes a bit obsessed with Joker because she's like the punchline to his joke. Um, so Punchline is like the new Harley Quinn, and the Harley Quinn that you see in Infinite Frontier is like a very mild version of Harley Quinn, which I don't really care for that much. There's a lot of character shifting that happens because of like following Future State, going into Infinite Frontier. It's a lot of character shifting. Um, Honestly, you don't have to read Joker War to go into Future State. I think that there. Let me explain this better. Future State is what could possibly happen in the DC universe. It is not necessarily a complete rebranding of DC. It is DC basically saying like it's a new wave of heroes. So you start to see Yara Flor as a Wonder Woman. Nubia is brought forward as a Wonder Woman. Um, this is when you see Joe as a new Green Lantern. um, you start to see a new Aquaman, or Aqualad is becoming the new Aquaman. You just start to see replacement of these older characters. You have Jace who's becoming the new Batman. That's what Future State is about. This is the new future of the DC universe. Now, what ends up happening is that Future State is simply a possibility. It doesn't mean that that's what's, because when you read Future State and you find out what has happened to everyone, baby, it is depressing. Okay? All right? Like it is depressing when you see what DC Universe looks like during Future State because like ain't nobody survived nothing. Um Nothing. And that has to do with death metal, which was the event that takes place before that. So DC's pretty much a mess. You have the rise of these new heroes. This was an event that took place probably maybe across a couple of months in the early part of 2021. Then what ends up happening is that you have the publication of Infinite Frontier. So Infinite Frontier is released after Future State, but chronologically it takes place before Future State because Infinite Frontier is where we still are dealing with like our old heroes like Bruce and Diana. We start to see like Yara Flor, who has Wonder Girl, is her new comic. You start to see like their origin stories. You see like Batman or the next Batman. You start to see like Jace's origin stories. So you see them from, it's like you got the ending to the story first and now you're going back to the beginning to see how it could all play out. So the thing with Joker War is that a lot of what you see in Infinite Frontier is the fallout from Joker War. You don't have to read Joker War to understand it necessarily, but a lot of references are made to Joker War. Like if you read Tynian's run of the Joker right now, the relationship between the Joker and Gordon. Huh?
That's your favorite run, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a, I always say this cuz people get pissed. It's marketed as like a Joker standalone run, which like a standalone series, which has never really been done before. But at the heart of it, it is a Commissioner Gordon book. It's told from his perspective, but the whole thing related to like um of Joker's presence is what makes it such a good, it's really really good writing. But basically like the relationship between Gordon and Joker in that book deals a lot with the Joker War and how much Joker did to his family during Joker War. A lot that you see with Batman, the run that Tiny did with Batman, starting I think at like issue 103, something like that. Maybe it was issue 102. I can't remember. That's kind of like fallout from Joker War. So you don't have to have you haven't, if you haven't read Joker War, it's not that big of a deal. I haven't read Joker War and I know what's going on, but I think you get more context if you read Joker War and then you're like, okay, now I understand what's going on. Like why Gotham's a hot mess. Gotham is really, really a hot mess.
What did you think about when they did the TV show with Jada Pinkett?
What you mean?
It was like Gotham on CW. Did you see that?
No, I know. I don't touch anything. I don't watch anything that's DC related. Like nothing.
Not you saying they trash.
They are trash. And clearly I'm invested in DC because I read so much of their stuff. I buy so much of DC stuff. Like I'm 100% invested in it, but like I just don't watch their stuff because it's just dumb. It's not good. It is confusing, but it makes sense like when you get into it. Honestly, y'all, when you like dive into it and you really throw yourself into it and you look up like there's websites out there that like really help you navigate all this stuff, it really does end up making a lot of sense. It doesn't seem like it, but I promise you it does make a lot of sense. So sorry for that long-winded explanation. Bree, are you ready to call it a night?
We can. It don't matter.
This could be a thing. Can we all watch a new Batman movie and do a live to talk about it? That could
That
be a
could be a
thing.
thing.
That could be a thing that we make happen.
I feel like y'all just gonna be dragging for it the whole time. But I'm
We
here
will.
for a drag, aren't you?
Yeah,
I'm
that's a good
here
point,
for a
Adora. Like, once you commit and you just kind of throw yourself into it, like it falls together. Yeah, it is. I think because like when I feel like I sound like really I feel like I sound so disorganized explaining it because I know how it makes sense like in my head and I've read it and I know how I want to explain it, but like every time I try to explain to somebody like what's going on in DC right now, I'm always like this probably makes absolutely no sense. But it does make sense in the grand scheme. It does. It all makes sense. But explaining it, I'm like, this is probably the most difficult thing to explain. And I think what always throws me off about it is the fact that the whole publication, the way that they did the publication for this stuff is what makes it so confusing to explain to say like, oh, by the way, Infinite Frontier chronologically takes place before Future State, but Future State was published first. And then people are like, huh? Like, it's like, yeah, so you got the ending of the story first. And now we're going back to the beginning to explain how we get to that point in the universe. But it's, I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when nose jumps in time happen, I'll be more confused. I'll
it
be like,
is
okay, so what's going on?
it is confusing. It is, I mean, I always tell people that I felt like Future State and Infinite Frontier were like a really great point. Like it was a really good point to like jump in for new readers because it wasn't like we were getting a complete reboot, but it was easy to follow. But from what I've been seeing from like the comic book channels that I follow on YouTube, it's getting convoluted again. And that's because you have so many people writing across this expansive universe and nobody's communicating with each other. So things get kind of weird. Yeah, like yeah, people are like Ashley, like where to start with DC, and I'm like, which Earth? Because there's multiple Earths. With like,
Speak
like
on
which
that.
like
On
which
that.
Earth? Yeah, which Earth are we talking about here? Before or after Infinite Crisis? Because that's a big deal. Because they completely just blew up. They blew up their entire lives, and we're gonna start from scratch. Like,
Or y'all can be like me. Just start reading.
just start. Just throw. I mean, honestly, like, really, just throw
That's what I
yourself
do.
into it.
I just start reading. And then every time I start reading, I'd be like, I bet Ashley don't know about this. And she'd be like, yeah, who wrote that? Who was the letterist? Wasn't this guy? He was a good letterist on that other thing. And I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
Wealth of knowledge.
Because I throw myself into it. I also think like if you're looking for some origin stories, I think Rebirth is also a good place to start. Like their Rebirth line, it's not. It's better than New 52. Like
Mm.
I've had somebody who's been commenting on my videos. He's like, "Yeah, I've been reading DC's New 52," and I'm like, people universally like hate New 52 because their writing was so horrible. But Rebirth, I think, is also a good place to start if you're looking for origin stories. And I know, like with Batman Rebirth, which is what Tom King did, it directly, all of that flows right into where we are with Batman right now.
Man, I won't lie to you. Batman and Spider Man is a comic that I don't think I would ever read because the movies were so trash to me that I just can't even.
Hmm. Spider Man is not my favorite. He's one of my least favorite Marvel characters, which really does throw people off, but it's a personality conflict thing. And I think because in a lot of comics where I've read Spider Man, he's still young. Um, and it just,
Doing young shit.
he's very doing young stuff. He can come across as very arrogant and cocky, and it just he doesn't always sit well with me as a character. So Spider-Man, Batman was the same way for me for a long time too. But James Tynion's take on Batman has really kind of changed my mind about Batman. Um, and seeing Batman with no money has been like
Humble him.
icing on
Humble
the cake.
that guy. Make him
It's humbled
broke.
him. Elizabeth, thank you. Punchline is one of James Tynion's worst characters ever created. Punchline is a really shitty substitute for Harley Quinn. That's all she is. Punchline literally is a substitute for Harley Quinn. She is a watered down version of Harley Quinn, and I feel like
That's
she was used as a catalyst to make Harley Quinn less of a villain and more on the side of Batman because of the magistrate that is taking over Gotham right now. That's the only reason why I feel like he did that. And it really aggravates me because I read the Punchline one shot and I know she was in Joker War, but I just read the one shot where we got her origin story and stuff, and I just was not a fan. Like, she literally has almost the same origin story as Harley Quinn, except instead of being a psychiatrist, she is a student who's investigating like Joker in general and just ends up becoming obsessed with him. It's the same. She is Harley Quinn, but I think that they needed.
I'm here with you.
I think they needed a Harley Quinn villain, like a Harley Quinn like villain, for Joker's narrative. But they wanted Harley Quinn to help Batman and the rest of the crew in Gotham at this point because everybody's a problem in Gotham, according to the magistrate. Anybody that's a mass vigilante, whether they're considered to be a hero or a villain, is a no go. Like Batman's, like all of them, they're all targeted. So I think that by bringing Harley Quinn over to Batman's side, it's like all of them have to work together in order to figure out like what's going on with this new mayor and the magistrate and the Scarecrow making a possible reappearance, which the artwork for Scarecrow is crazy in these new issues. Um, but it made me so pissed because I'm so used to the villain Harley Quinn, and she's very watered down. When you read her in these Batman, even in her own run, she's very like. First of all, the art in the newest run of Harley Quinn is not good. I don't like the art style. Two, she just doesn't feel like Harley Quinn whatsoever. Now, Harley Quinn Future State was, oh my gosh, it was so good. It was good. But Harley Quinn Infinite Frontier is just like, I'm not feeling her at all. So, mm,
He's giving you trash.
yeah, it's just not because like people are used to like Harley Quinn as a villain, and it's just like they went out of their way to introduce Punchline, and Punchline is just not like she's not giving. She's not, she's just not an interesting character because she is Harley Quinn with a different name and she's what color is Punchline's hair? It's dark brown, right? It's just dark brown hair. Like she just not she just didn't give. Yeah. Now there is an interesting thing that's happening with Poison Ivy, and I didn't realize what it was until because it's kind of hinted at. I feel like it's hinted at in a Batman comic. Poison Ivy's missing. Not like
Hmm.
she's just not around, and it's off like people characters pick up on the fact that like she just has not been present, but you get a better understanding of what's happened to Poison Ivy when you read Catwoman, which Rom V's run of Catwoman is actually really good. So Gotham, I didn't realize it until I started diving more into like because I was very selective about what I was reading when it came to DC. And to be honest with you, I touched on everybody except the characters in Gotham. So I was reading a lot of Superman, a lot of Aquaman, a lot of Wonder Woman, um, Justice League stuff, like so Batman would be there, but like Flash stuff. But like characters in Gotham I was not really. I was not really reading characters in Gotham. I wasn't reading any standalone Catwoman, any standalone like Batman. I would pick up Harley Quinn stuff because I think Harley Quinn's origin story is very fascinating. Um but outside of that, like I really wasn't touching characters in Gotham. Like Gotham, it's interesting because I feel like Gotham is like its own world inside of DC. Like Gotham has it's a lot of things and a lot of people in Gotham, and it kind of reminds me of like Marvel with X-Men. Like X-Men technically is Marvel, but when you start getting into the nitty-gritty of Marvel, X-Men feels like its own universe because it has so many different components just of its own. Gotham's like that too, where there's so many characters that have so many storylines, and it's so much stuff that happens in Gotham itself that sometimes Gotham characters and their storylines end up feeling a little separate from like Wonder Woman and the rest of them. I've been so consumed reading Gotham related stuff. Like I can't tell you the last time I picked up something with Aquaman or a Cyborg standalone or a Flash standalone, and so it's just been crazy. Not sure have me geeking out. It's time for me to go to bed. Cause this is how I always get caught up.
And then I'd be like, yes, notes.
Yeah.
And
I
Shay
just
says, message.
I get super like into I get super into all this stuff. Now I'm looking over here like, oh, do I wanna pick up my Batman omnibus tonight or my Batman hardcover? No, I don't need to
No.
pick up my Batman hardcover. What I need to do is edit this video and take my behind to bed. That's what I need to do because I have to go to work in the morning.
Listen, I'm gonna try to listen to 3 hours of Poppy War.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if I'm gonna do that, that means I'm gonna have to do laundry.
Yeah, I need to clean the kitchen and
But I'm afraid to do laundry because somebody was just banging on my door, and I heard them going from door to door screaming.
oh,
So I
that's why you
took
got the
out my
bag.
bag because I feel like to say that I live in a small town, my apartment is very much giving me danger city. Like it's always some shit going down. Like
Always.
there's always some shit. Like last week? It was 2 weeks ago. My neighbor banged on the door, freaking out. I think I told you. Her husband beat her up,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah. You told me about that. Yeah, you did.
And like, then I came back today. The police escorting him out. He tried to do round two. I'm gonna have to go in there and get my bat again. But yeah, people already trying to get into your girl's apartment. Gotta get out of here. But yeah, I think I'm gonna read a couple hours of this.
Popular.
Uh,
Yeah, see, Adora, like I like when we do this, like, because I feel like it's like our little small knit community of comic book readers here. And then I always feel like every time we have like our meetups, I was like, dang, I really want to binge through some comics tonight. Like I
and
always feel that like leaving here too, like I feel even more motivated to like continue, which I'm glad that you feel that way as well, because I know we talk about it all the time, but I'm gonna keep saying it that I do wish that there was a bigger space for comic book readers, comic books and graphic novel readers in booktube. They exist outside of booktube. Like there are comic book channels that have millions of subscribers, okay? Hardcore comic book fans. But I think in our community, um we still have the same space. Like, people just don't, it's not people's things when it's just like, I'm like, you're missing out on so much, like the world building, the character development, the intricacies that go into like the artwork and just the storytelling overall is the same thing that you would get out of any of your other books. It's no different. It's just more visual. And I get it though, because I think like comic books and graphic novels, the idea of what to pick up is intimidating. And then when you throw DC and Marvel in there, you're like, oh shoot, ain't no way. You're like, never mind, this is just too much. But I'm hoping that by us like doing these like monthly meetups and like just discussing the books and giving recommendations and just having like kind of these conversations like outside of um outside of what we were supposed to be talking about, which is Far Sector. Um
But I think
Hopefully they'll
it's
help.
good. I think it's good. I feel like the best part of doing this with you is that whatever I'm confused about, I know I don't even have to ask the question because you're going to clarify it. You're going to give me the background
Yeah.
of how it came to be. Because I had some questions, but you already answered them. Get doing the backstories on a bunch of things. So I think having that makes my ease into comics just a little bit more
Yeah.
secure and enjoyable because I don't think I would know that. And then too, I feel like before I read comics, I just assumed that children read it because when you watch movies and shit and people are reading comics, it's either like children or Sheldon. And you just don't usually see black folks reading comics. So I really appreciate you shining light on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, somebody said the Sandman universe, same. I really want to get into that one day.
Okay, so honestly, we might need to do like a separate whole read along for Sandman,
Like we did Saga, because I was
like we
down
did
for that
Saga.
entire
I
experience.
I think I think if I because a lot of the Sandman comics are available through Hoopla, so it's definitely something that could be accessible to a lot of people if y'all are interested in doing. I mean, I because I have the first Sandman comic somewhere over there, and I just have not. I'm
Raise
nervous to start
your
that
hand
one.
raise your hand for Sandman in the comments, y'all.
Yeah, if y'all want to do Sandman, like
If we get more than 10 people want to do it, we'll do it. I'll say
there you
that.
go.
Just so
Ten
we
or
ain't
more. If 10 or more
alone.
people say yes to Sandman, we'll do it.
Yeah, just so we ain't alone in these streets. The eye emojis don't count,
Y'all,
Scarlet.
you have to say yes. You have to say yes.
Yeah, children or Sheldon.
Okay, so we have
I don't know her
Sarah,
name.
Adora. Okay, 1, 2, 3. You need
Oh,
7 more.
adults. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I started to comment and then
4,
I saw it.
5. Y'all need 5 more. Oh,
One,
6,
two.
7. Need to 8. Y'all need 2 more.
All
Oh,
you gotta
9.
do,
You need 1 more.
don't deny what you feel. Let me undress you.
Okay, that's 10. All right, we got 10.
All right. 'Cause
11.
listen, I already got the what's her name? The Nalo Hopkins run of it. I already have that one. I forget what volume it is. I have one. I've won. So I'm ready. And
Not a
yes,
damn
I've been
yes.
called
I'm
out
being
for
called out for something I
something.
said before the question was even asked.
Say it with your chest. That's what you get for coming at me when my internet was doing Boost Mobile type thing. That's what you get.
All right, so we will map out because Sandman universe is extensive, but we can map out. Bree and I will take some time and map out, and we will. I mean, we usually announce everything on Instagram. Yeah, yeah, because Nala Hopkinson does do.
Yeah, I
She
only
is
have that one.
involved in the Sandman universe.
Yeah, I
And there
only
is a Lock and Key. This is going to be so interesting. So we're slated to read all 6 volumes of Lock and Key by Joe
in
Hill and Gabriel
October.
Rodriguez in October.
In
Is that when we're slated?
October.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in October because it is a horror um comic book series, and it's finished. It's done. So when we read all 6 volumes, I will. It's super graphic. It's a lot. There's some stuff in there that kind of like Saga doesn't necessarily age well, but Lock and Key is tied into Sandman as well. Like there are a couple of one shots, I think. Um, so I think Brie, you and I'm good. We're gonna have to do research on this because I'm not familiar with the Sandman universe at all.
I'm not either.
I'm not.
You know that Excel sheet that I sent you, and it's
Yes.
like all of the read-alongs I'm doing
Yes.
this year. I made an extra tab just now. The Sandman
For Sandman. Okay.
universe read. Mhm.
Okay.
Who the fuck is
Scarlett,
knocking
don't be
like
hurt.
this?
It ain't nothing but love.
I'm sorry. I thought it was you. I thought it was you coming from my throat. I'm always joking anyway. I'm a find the receipt. Also,
Um.
I just want to know:
Mhm.
is your dad white? When your dad said, "What if she is looking for? What if someone is screaming for help? Not help."
um. It's not the original 6, y'all. So the original 6 volumes of Lock and Key are not connected to Sandman, but they released a one shot probably a few months ago that connected Lock and Key to the Sandman universe. So it's I think it is just a one shot. I don't think it's going to be a continuous series. As a matter of fact, let's Google Sandman universe reading order.
I'm
I feel like it's
already
a
doing
lot of
it. I
stuff.
already got the link. Let me put the link in the
Oh,
chat. Oh,
Comic Book
link.
Herald already has a. I didn't know that he did
Yep.
a. Is that who you
I'm
picked? Is that who
already.
you got?
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, he does a lot of reading guides. Okay,
So
so he has the original series, which is 10 volumes, and then he has the extended Sandman universe, which I think is a bunch of like,
Neil Gaiman.
yeah, okay, so wow, it's a lot.
I mean, we don't have to do the spin-offs
You mean the late
unless you
90s?
want. Yeah,
Oh, but there's a Lucifer spin-off reading order.
I know. I saw that. If you mentioned
Oh,
it, if you want to, I can go there. But I didn't know. I saw that. I said we might want to go there.
oh,
Yeah, I saw the Lucifer spin-off.
yeah.
And that was the
Oh,
volume. Well, it's 1
2018
through
Black
book
Label
5, and
Sandman.
then volume. I don't get.
Oh, oh, I did not know that Dark Knight's metal is tied into Sandman.
I didn't get that far.
Okay, let me explain this really quick. Dark Knight's metal is the event that happens right before Future State. It's why Future State exists. Why Infinite Frontier exists. Dark Knight's metal.
Okay,
Yes. Oh, that is cool.
but that's what he said. Metal is way more relevant for the
To
DC
DC. Yeah, it
universe.
has yeah, it's super tied into.
Comic Book Herald be having all the magic, man.
Oh, he's awesome. He's really awesome. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to really think about this though, because like House of Whispers is the one that Nala Hopkinson did, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we probably oh, John Constantine is tied into Sandman? I didn't know that. Oh, this is gonna be that's oh wow. Okay, y'all. So this is probably gonna extend over a large period of time because and some of the stuff I think we're gonna have to get digitally because it's out of print.
Oh, he
Like
has a
Mike Carey's
Patreon.
series.
What's about?
Yep, you're right. You're right. Because John is, I haven't read through Constantine or Lucifer. I think I've read the first book of John Constantine, Hellblazer. I think I read that one, but I don't think I've read past that. Um, Neil Gaiman wrote the original series. These spin-offs are um written by different creators.
Do anybody want me to send them the link in, or are we are all on the same shit? I don't want to be.
I found this other one too, Brie. This other one is pretty good.
Hold on, send that. Put that in the chat.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, this won't be as quick as Saga was. Okay, I
It
sent the
won't
link.
be.
I sent the link.
We're gonna need to go through a couple of, cause see, I don't know when Comic Book Herald even updated his, because it looks like his wasn't updated since 2019, and more stuff has come out since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to
So
do? Um,
this is another one, y'all, that I found just now.
why do these year-long read-alongs keep coming in my lap? It's never a month or two. Speaking of one, I need to go ahead and post my read-along. I'm gonna. Should I? Is it too late to post a read-along on Instagram?
For what?
For one, I'm in with Kim from Native Lady Book Warrior.
I would wait till tomorrow so you get maximum exposure.
Okay.
So I didn't know that there were multiple Sandmen.
I'm gonna say I didn't know either.
And some of it is tied into, well, it is, Sandman was done by Vertigo, which is an imprint of DC. It no longer exists, so I can see why it would be tied into DC. And I did not know that Sandman actually existed in the older comics in the 30s. So the website that I just posted actually gives some really really good history behind it. If you're interested in that, but I think Bree and I will probably um because we will have to decide whether we want to start with if we want to just do Neil Gaiman's Sandman, or if we are looking to if we are looking to do some of the historical stuff too.
Did I lose her
See,
for
I didn't
one?
know that Jack Kirby did Sandman. Just wow. Some of this stuff we probably won't be able to do because it's out of print. That's crazy. Wow. Wow. All right, y'all. Really, it is time for us to go. It is 10:45, Bree.
Damn, it's 9:45 and my breath smell like onions.
All right, y'all. It's been real. We will come back with we will talk about this Sandman read along, and we will share that information with y'all at some point. Um, how we walk out of a walk out with another read along?
It be like that.
It'd be like that. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us. Um, and we can discuss it in the Discord. If you are not, hold on, let me see if I can pull it up really quick. If you're not a part of because that's a good idea. We may just need to make it like a another like a subgroup of
Comics
of the
one.
yeah, the comics one. There's no need to create another Discord. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of like excessive.
It's true.
I do.
Um,
I think it's pretty excessive. Hold on, let me see y'all. I think that I will share the link just in case anybody in here is not a part of the Discord.
oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, come on, Dad, sit in, hang out a while. So, Adrian, me and Kim is doing bi-monthly. They're not buff. It's like for 2 months we'll do a book club, take a month break, or take a 2 month break, and then do them again. So we're gonna just read 6 of Stephen Graham Jones' books, his backlist. So we're starting off with The Last Final Girl, and that live show will be on the 4th. I mean the 27th of March on my channel, and then the next month on the 15th, Growing Up Dead in Texas will be on Kim's channel. So and then we'll announce the next 2 books when we can. But those are the first 2 books. I heard somebody coming to the Discord.
Yeah, people are hopping in. All right, y'all. So definitely hop into the Discord, and whenever we finalize some things about this, Bree and I will share the information on Instagram, and we'll talk about it too um in the Discord as well.
Okay.
All
All
right, y'all.
right.
Good night.
Later.